We don't. We should open up that mode.
No, you got that.
Okay. All right, let's stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, as we move on to our council vacancy, Randy is resigning. We found that out last meeting, so he is our mayor pro tem. So I would entertain a motion to elect a new mayor pro tem for the town of Mills River.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Jeff Young to be the new mayor pro tem.
Did you break this? So we got a first for Jeff Young. We got a second. Sandra second. Any more discussion?
I would just like to say that it's with a little consternation. I mean, I'm humbled by the nomination, but I sit here as an appointed member, and so I have a little heartburn over, acting on behalf of the town as the vice mayor, just being appointed. So I don't know if this council is comfortable with that or not, but that's just something that concerns me.
I got you. Good point. I think me personally, I think you've been here long enough. You understand everything that's going on, maybe even better than I do. And I don't have a problem with it.
I'm the same. I think we elect mayor and vice mayor up here in Langston.
Manny, you got any thoughts on that? Sandra, any discussion? Okay. What do you think? You still good with it? You willing to do it?
Oh, no, I'm humbled and yes,
Okay.
be honored.
Could we make that motion effective tomorrow? Since our
yes.
mayor pro tem is still,
Effective to midnight tonight, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll make it effective March 1, 2024 with that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I heard none. Okay, we'll move on to our interim manager discussion.
So I'll take the lead on this, Mr. Mayor,
Okay, thank
if you wouldn't mind. So last week I announced my resignation to the town of Mills River. We've not put anything official on the paper yet. We're waiting for tonight to conclude. So I have for you this evening a copy of the contract. Last week you saw the proposal from Developmental Associates. So I'll pass this out and then I'll go through it with you.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go through. Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong. You can hang on to that, but I gave you the wrong contract.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay. Now you have in front of you an agreement with Developmental Associates, which is a recruitment firm out of the Triangle area. They have assisted many, many towns across the state over the years with selection processes for public sector, private sector, public health, government, kind of across the board. They have helped Mills River in the past with manager searches. I have been through the process myself as a candidate, as well as someone who is part of their assessment team to review applicants and help score in their assessment process. The cost in the contract is $23,000 with a final completion date of July 1st of 2024. There are a few other ancillary expenses that you probably should plan to budget for background checks and things of that nature. This is with Steven Strauss, Developmental Associates. I'm happy to answer any questions.
It takes longer than July 31st or 1st or whatever that was.
That's a good question. I didn't ask him that question. I assume he would be in close contact with you, but it looked like that was going to be the case, and you would need to discuss an extension. That's the contract.
Sometimes I don't know if the last ones was like background checks and stuff. When we narrowed it down to a few, it seemed like we just had to pay an additional background check per everything we selected. Does that sound out name?
So there are two additional fees. One can be paid directly to the gentleman who conducts the background check, or you could pay it through the developmental associates. The point that Randy just mentioned, the $350 per candidate, is actually for what's called an EQI assessment, which is an assessment of emotional intelligence and things of that nature that is part of the screening process. And then it also includes some coaching once the candidate is selected. So, for example, if you complete that assessment, that it's not a right or wrong question, it might tell you things like be more cognizant of your tone of voice when you speak with someone, or your body language, something like that. So it's an important part of the assessment and worth doing. Mm-hmm. Or if you only have 3 candidates you want them to do it with, or only 2, it's up to the board.
Any more questions? I've kind of been through it before, so I kind of know what to expect. Just the price is getting a little high.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than it was in 2019.
You think be able to get somebody like that?
I feel like it should. Do you remember how long your process took from start to finish?
From start to finish, it was approximately 5 months, but that included, when I was selected, I had to put in a notice at my prior job, so that was part of that process. So the selection was made within 3 to 3.5 months, I think, something like that.
Okay.
Can you give me a sense of, just in your past experience, if there's up to that maximum of 5 qualified candidates,
Mm-hmm.
is it typically a virtual interview, first interview, and then it sometimes pare down, and then you have a second interview with the candidates that's in person? Or,
So you're talking about after the initial screening and all that?
yes, sir.
So when it's narrowed down to the last 2-3 candidates that the council wants to interview, those are typically held in person. The project manager with Developmental Associates, Mr. Strauss, will meet with you in person, and then once you decide on the final slate of candidates, they can coordinate the interviews themselves, but those would be in person with you and the candidate.
So it's basically one interview that's going to be face-to-face for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Any screening before that's Developmental Associates.
That's right. Yeah, and they do that through online job application. You submit it online, and then there's 2 rounds of screening, and both of those include phone calls between Developmental Associates and the potential candidates. And then once they've narrowed that down, and you all are involved in this along the way, they will set up what's called an assessment process where they will bring people in. I say bring people in. It used to be on site, but it's all virtual now. And they have to conduct a series of exercises which are scored by the volunteer assessors, and then that is presented back to Mr. Strauss, who then in turn presents it to you. Then he can help you interpret the data.
Anything else? If there's nothing else, if somebody wants to make a motion to accept this, or we deny it, or we look in a different direction, anything, whatever, we do need to get moving sooner than later on something.
If you're comfortable moving forward with it, the motion would be to authorize the mayor to sign the contract.
Okay.
Mayor Gantz, I'll make a motion to that effect that we enter into agreement with Developmental Associates for a search of a town manager, and thereby authorizing you to sign on behalf of the town on the contract.
I got a motion, I'll let a second. Thank you, Daniel. Any more discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving forward to that. Okay, Daniel, on this interim manager, you've been able to round up anybody on the outside field that's shown interest other than the one I brought forth?
No, sir.
Has anybody else talked to anybody about any interim work? Or? Yeah. Seems like always before, and it's hard for me to remember, but it seemed like when Jeff went out, what did we knew, is that when Mark came on board? Okay. And Roger or somebody knew him personally, or somebody knew him personally, okay.
We did contact the League of Municipalities because they used to have a list of retired managers who were interested in serving that way. But as long ago as that list more or less had dried up. So that's why we went with someone Roger knew.
I asked around and was told one name. I didn't contact her yet. I was waiting until tonight. I know,
Okay, that's fine.
Jeff has a little bit with it too. You sort of got to point me in the right direction. What?
No, I mean, is it okay in this open meeting to bring up names right here that we might?
I would prefer you do that in closed session.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably wait and do that discussion in closed session. What else do you need? You got anything else we need to go over as far as item B on this agenda right now before we go into close?
No, just the hope is to get someone on board as quick as possible so that he or she and I can have some overlap for a few days.
Okay. Before we go into closed session, and this being Randy's last official day, we can't appoint anyone to the seat until tomorrow, of course, but would somebody, I think somebody's reached out to Shay Davis to come on board possibly and help us out till the election is over. And new council people are sworn in. So, if council desire, I'd like to go ahead and get that business taken care of tonight while she's here. And Shay, as long as you're okay with it still, and you're okay with getting sworn in at the first thing on the next meeting, since Randy's still on the block this day. So if that's all right with whoever, somebody make that motion.
Mayor Gantz, I would move that this council appoint Shay Davis to the vacant at-large seat upon Councilman Austin's resignation for the remainder of his term.
Is that a good enough motion to cover that, Sue, or do we need to announce a swearing date? I don't know.
You don't have to announce the swearing date, but your next meeting is March 8th,
Okay.
That's the visioning session.
so we would have to add that to the agenda
And that
because it's a
would be-
special meeting.
Yeah, and I would love to have her sworn in so she can be an official member for that. 'Cause, you know, she'd bring a lot to the table for that. Okay. All right, I got Jeff's. A second. Sandra. Any more discussion?
My only discussion is, do we not have a meeting next Thursday on the 7th?
Mhm.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, the week is
Thank
weird
you.
with
Good answer.
Friday being the first day.
Any more discussion? Okay, all right. Take a motion, we got first, second, all in favor, of Shay? Any replacement for Randy?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Okay, on board, next time we see you. All right, so anything else you can think of we need to take care of right now? I think that's got it, huh?
That's it, isn't it?
Okay. All right, we're gonna enter, I need someone to put us in the closed session, pursuant to, I guess, employee. Get enough. Okay. You got Sanders, got us going into closed session, second.
I'll second the motion.
Jeff, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're in closed. Thanks for coming out.